Hey guys, welcome back to another brand new video. Today is an absolute banger. We've got a new formation for you, a new tactic, the 4-3-3 narrow, tested across 3 leagues. It's been dominant across all of them. But before we get into the video, drop a like on the video, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, but let's get into the tactic. So then guys, the first team I tested this with was Ajax, a team that I've never tested a tactic with before. As you can see, we're going to do a quick rundown of how we done, quick, look into the stats, player stats, etc. But we did win the league here by 10 points, Feyenoord in second place. Also won the Toto KMVB Becker Trophy and the Cruyff Shield as well. Didn't do great in the Europa League, but I do want to talk about that because some of the results we're going to go over now were absolutely incredible, considering I made no signings for this team whatsoever as well. We go into the schedule, so we're pretty much dominant right from the start. Couple of draws in the Champions League, but we had some standout results in this tactic. So we beat PSG 4-1 here, which is incredible. Got a result against them there as well. Beat Chelsea, but it was Wolfsburg that were the team that actually knocked us out, or sort of, didn't let us progress in the groups. But overall, actually a decent Champions League display. We beat some top teams, drew the other 2 times, but overall, as you can see with this formation, we didn't actually lose too many times. Obviously, this is like this league. There are teams which obviously can win it, especially on Football Manager. Like, to be fair, I mean, I've played before where like Feyenoord have won it, PSV have won it, and it's a league which I always like to test tactics in because you can see how you do in Champions League. The league is like a decent reality to win, but it's why I always test with 3 teams usually, because then you can see me use other teams which in different leagues may be a bit more competitive. But overall, a very good display in terms of fixtures. Obviously, the only embarrassing loss we've really had would probably be this 6-2 loss against Napoli. But you got to think, with an Ajax team, which I made no signings with, we were playing in every single possible tournament. Players are going to be tired. But let's look into the actual stats of everyone. So we'll go into the squad. So we just look at the average match rate and see what the goals were like. So Haller actually got 36 goals within this formation, which is very impressive. 8 assists as well. Tadic coming in with 17 goals, 10 assists. Everyone pretty much chipping in. And this is the beautiful thing about this tactic as well. Like, I feel like everyone's got an opportunity to work their way into the box and get a goal because it is quite a counter-attacking formation and people do sort of go forward when, when the counter is on. We've got 20 goals down here from Anthony. Obviously, I wonder where he was, but no, it does really work well, guys. It really does. Like I said, it's not like a necessarily the most attractive football that you're going to be watching, but it does get results, and that's the only thing that matters. But that's a little breakdown of the players' stats overall. Haller actually had a great season. A decent player as well. Valued at 41 to 52 million, so fair play to him. But I did see on my last video that you guys wanted me to get right into the tactic a bit quicker, so I won't spend as long going through this. If you want me to spend a bit more time next time, just say, but there were 2 comments that said sort of speed it up, so I will speed it up for you guys. Let's have a quick look in the data hub because there's 2 things I want to show you. So attacking this season, pretty much the expected goals are over 2, which is always a positive because as long as this number is more than the conceded, you've got a very good chance of winning every game based off stats. The pass completion, nearly 91%. Very happy about that. The shots on target, again, is lower than what possibly you could expect because I let them shoot from it pretty much wherever they want. I don't tell them to work the ball into the box by any means. So overall, I'd say attacking is actually quite positive. When you got a formation that's pretty much expected above 2 goals a game, you're laughing really. That's not a bad stat at all. Into the defending. So this is what I like to see. We're actually expected to concede less than 1 goal a game, which is perfect because, if you're scoring more than you're conceding, you're winning games. Obviously, the better defence you have, probably the better the stat will become. That's just pretty much common sense. But tackles one's getting them for 80%. Fouls made per game is quite high. But then, as you've probably seen with most of my formations, I let players get stuck in. I like that game style. I'm happy for players to take bookings if it means that we don't get counted on. That's just how I manage. Decent amount of clearances per game and blocks as well. But overall, I would say it's quite a balanced, not even balanced, it's is a big advantage to this tactic, because obviously you're expected to concede less than a goal a game, and you're expected to score just, or no, we'll say 2 a game because it's not over 2.5, but you're expected to score more than you're conceding, which is the main thing in football. That's what you want to be seeing, right? That's what you want to be seeing. But that is going to be the team tested with Ajax. Overall, a very positive season with them for sure. Obviously, the best goals scored, best in goals conceded as well. Second worst for yellow cards, actually 69, which, you know, is quite a high number, but that's how I play. But let's get into the next save, which is with FC Bournemouth. Then decided to do it with a team which are in the English division, but I wanted to go down. I wanted to go into the Championship and just have a little look. I picked Bournemouth because I've managed them before, and obviously, you know, it's not guaranteed promotion. Obviously, Fulham are a great side in there, Sheffield as well, so not guaranteed. So it is a challenge, but we actually made it look quite easy. I mean, 112 points to second place is 84, so definitely promoted there for no doubts there. 75 goal difference as well. Solanke actually netted 41 goals, which is very, very impressive. I did make a couple of signings in this one, which you'll see in the squad, because I was able to after going to the board. But as you can see here again, 114 goals, best. Goals conceded, best. The cards again is quite high, actually reaching over 100 yellow cards. So depending on what your opinion is on the game, you can take the get stuck in off, which, you know, possibly could benefit you. But for me, it worked fine. So you can see here, we won the Championship. Not a bad display in the Carabao Cup either. We got to the semi-finals. Unfortunately, we're knocked out against West Ham. Not a great run in the FA Cup, but we did come against Newcastle. Obviously, quite a good team at the moment. But overall, a very positive season. But let's go into the squad then. Let's have a little look. So they're all in order still. So Dominic Solanke, obviously with 41 goals. Absolutely incredible. I mean, what a season he had. As you can see here, 43, 14 assists as well in there. You really can't go wrong with that as a player. Jaden Anthony as well, with quite a high match rating at 7.7. 14 goals from Ryan Christie, with 9 assists. Who else has stood out here for the assists? Jack Stacey, Ethan Laird, David Brooks. A decent performance from David Brooks. I did play him, as you'll see, in an attack and playmaker role. Down here as well, Jamal Lowe with actually 18 goals to his tally, which is very, very good as well. And Ryan Brewster, the man that I did bring in, with 8 assists and 13 goals. So you really can't complain with some of these stats. I feel like there's a lot of players getting good match ratings, and the goals, there's always a one clear goal scorer, which you'll see why, because there is one attack and forward. But everyone sort of chips in, and as you can see, just based off where we finished, it's such a good formation. Let's quickly look into the schedule. So, I mean, wow. We went off to an absolute flying start here. We slipped up there to a 1-1 against Luton, and our first loss was against Stoke in the Championship, which was actually quite a mad game, actually, by the looks of it. But what a run that was to start off with, you know. I mean, we went, 2 months unbeaten of games, and, that's a great start to the season. Friendlies were a bit iffy, but is what it is, really. We then rebound right off that Stoke game, and we actually do another 2 months of being unbeaten. A few draws in there, a 4-4 there against Cardiff, and the next loss we get is actually against West Ham. But to be fair, we beat them 3-1 in the first leg, and because I simulate this, obviously, if I actually was managing this and playing it, you probably could just set up a bit more of a defensive, tactic towards the game in this second leg. But obviously, that doesn't really matter, because we like to sim the seasons to see how the tactic performs, not how the manager performs. But overall, a very good display there when it comes to the schedule. You can't really knock it at all. The losses that we did, well, every loss that we had were against teams that were reasonable, in my opinion. Like Newcastle, a great side. And as you can see here also, we did thump teams quite... 5-0, 4-1, 4-1, 5-0, 3-0, 3-0. Like, there's definitely goals in this formation, is what I'm trying to get across to you guys. Like, the formations I build are aggressive. They're either... majority of them are high press, counter-attack, in your face. And yet, you are going to pick up bookings. But that's how I play. I'm quite happy to break up play, get a booking, and move on. That's just who I am as a manager. But... overall, a very, very good season. Well, a quick look in the data hub here. So if we go into the team performance, attacking here, so very similar, to be honest with you. The pass completion, I believe, is a little bit less, but expected to score just over or just 2 goals a game. The shot on target ratio is going to be low, but I've explained why that is low. Again, very decent here. We're performing well above the average stats in the league, which is very good to see. What about defending? So slightly higher, getting on for nearly conceding 1 a game. I believe the last one was 0.76, which tells me Ajax's backline is better, which it is. Bournemouth's backline isn't exactly great. I think I had Cahill playing in defence, so obviously great player in his time, but is now a bit older. Tackles one's quite good though, at 81%. Fouls made 15 in this save. Clearances and getting on for 40, which you can't really complain about. But to be fair, I'd actually still that's still very good, because as long as you're planning or you're expected to score more, we're expected to score double what we're conceding, which is instantly a result in success, which is what we've done, as you can see here, winning the league by a ridiculous amount of points. I mean, Nottingham Forest obviously did have a very good season, but we just absolutely wiped the floor with everyone. We didn't sign. We signed 1 player in Brewster, and as you can see here, some of the other stats. Solanke dominating. I mean, most assists, highest match rating, 41 goals. Absolutely sensational from him. It really is. But the last team I tested it with was Inter Milan. So let's go ahead and load that save and break down this tactic. So then, guys, this is Inter Milan in the Serie A. We won the league by quite a convincing amount in points and definitely goal difference. 86 goal difference. Martinez scoring 34 goals and getting the most assists as well. So definitely a fantastic season from him. We also won the Coppa Italia, and the Super Cup, which, so we did do the treble in the first season, which, although they're not like the massive trophies, as you can see here, we also were runners-up in the Champions League. So we nearly won the Champions League, the league, and 2 of the other cups in the first season. So overall, a very good initial season. The players that we had, I will show you in the squad, did perform very well. As you can see here, Lautaro Martinez racking up 25 assists, 34 goals. And this man here surprised me. I mean, he's still got it at the age of 36. 12 assists and 30 goals. Correa there as well, putting in a very, very important set of stats for the season. Now, this is by far, obviously, the best team that I used in terms of testing the tactic, but it is a competitive league. Like, there are several teams that can win it in Football Manager, and I just wanted to use Inter Milan because, to be honest, I actually really do enjoy using them on this game, and I was like, do you know what, we'll test it with him. Perisic also coming up with 26 goals, so this one, definitely, there are a lot of, I mean, down here as well with Pinamonti, with 17 goals. This tactic, with this team, definitely the goals are a bit more spread, probably because there's a bit more depth in the players. There's a lot of quality in this team for sure. But let's have a quick look at Dzeko, actually. I'm quite interested. So 36, good stats for a 36-year-old initially off the rip. Obviously not the quickest, but he can get the goals. That's all you can pretty much ask for. So fair play to him. Martinez must be worth an absolute fortune. Yep, he's worth quite a bit. Very good stats as well at 24, so no complaints there. And who was the other guy? Halanoglu, 28, 71 million. Again, very well-rounded stats. I never actually knew he was that good, to be fair. But overall, a very, very positive season. And it is getting to that time, which everyone's come for, I know, is the tactic breakdown. So let's have a little look then. So this tactic will be available to you guys to download. So you haven't got to copy this exact, but it's a 4-3-3 narrow, right? So basically, it's your traditional 4-3-3, but instead of having wingers, I've got 2 complete forwards and 1 advanced forward. I always say attacking forward for some reason. Advanced forward. Now, this works perfectly if you've got the players to do it, and I honestly would recommend, if you haven't got the players, get the players that are comfortable playing in the complete forward roles, because they play such a crucial part. As you can see here, Martinez wasn't actually the initial striker right off the rip. He wasn't the advanced forward, but he got top goal scorer. So they all chip in, and it's just very good. And it's a bit of a twist on the the traditional 4-3-3. And in my opinion, it performs the same, if not better. As you can see, we tested it across 3 very different leagues, and we dominated every single division. Also nearly winning the Champions League in our first season with no real signings. I think the only player I brought in, because he was pretty much free, was Choupo-Moting on this save. So, I mean, again, a very, very good tactic, which I'm going to break down for you guys now. So let's start off with the mentality. Mentality is positive. Obviously, you can dictate this as you go into games. If you're not confident going in, then don't do it. But in my opinion, I like to go in and not know that I'm going to be on the back foot the whole game. I'd rather go in and make them feel a little bit of nerves, you know, really get into them. In possession, so the attack and width is fairly wide, nothing too special. Nothing too special entirely about this section, to be honest. The only thing I've selected is the direct list slightly shorter because this is a counter-attack formation. It's not tiki-taka, so there are balls that are going to be played over the top occasionally. The tempo's on higher, not extremely higher for this one. Nothing selected on here. The final third, I've got low crosses on. I want low crosses going into the box. And Be More Expressive is turned on right from the rip, just so they, you know, they do be a bit more creative and stuff like that. But nothing too, honestly, special that I've selected about this tactic in this screen here. Fairly basic, I feel, I would say. Moving to the in-transition phase, and we've got the counter-press on, and once we've won the ball back, counter-attack. Obviously something you'll see a lot in my tactics. I like to press, I like to get it going, and when we get the ball, I like to hit them on the counter, because there's so many teams in this game that are vulnerable to a counter-attack, and if you've got the players that can hit them quickly, you can do it. And Inter Milan don't even have the quickest forwards. I mean, I had Dzeko involved. So if you've got centre forwards that, you know, are quite quick, you can definitely cause even more damage than what I did, for sure. As for the goalkeeper in possession, I've got it on distribute quickly, because again, catching them off guard is key in this formation. It's all about countering, so as soon as your goalkeeper gets that ball, get it back out there, fly at them, go. Obviously, unless you are winning a game, you want to slow it down. This is stuff that you change in game. You guys know this. On the distribute to the area, I play it to the centre-backs, because then he can work at, you know, either he can play a ball over the top, because our passing directness isn't on short, he can go long with the ball. But it's very comfortable playing it to the centre-backs when you've got this on as well, roll it out, because, I mean, the centre-backs are always quite close. The goalkeeper can roll it out. He can then pass it to a full-back. He can pass it to a flank. He decides what the next transition is in the game. Again, because the pass and directness isn't on short, you might see a long ball get played and it might not work out, but they might work out. So, I mean, this isn't a tiki-taka formation. I like to make my tactics clear, because if you guys download this and you're expecting, you know, 1-2 tiki-taka in behind Pep Guardiola, this isn't the style that this formation is. My 4-2-3-1 that I uploaded is like that, but this is a slightly different approach on the game. Out of possession, we have got the higher line of engagement and a lower defensive line and standard width, so fairly straightforward there. I know on previous saves I have used a higher defensive line, but on this one I've got quite a low back line. On the marking and tackling, I've got I've not got the tighter marking on, and trigger press I've got much more often. And for me personally, get stuck in is massively important, just because I'll say it time and time again. I know I keep repeating myself, but I genuinely think there is no harm in taking a booking at not any time in the game, but say they've got a counter-attack in like even the 75th minute, you're a goal up. You'd rather your player get a yellow card right than them go and score a goal. In some cases, if it's late in the game and the player may be rotation or you've got depth in that area, I don't care if they get sent off. Like, honestly, I would rather take a card and get the result, in my personal opinion. Obviously, you can't control what minutes they get the cards in, but for me, just from when I've actually played it myself, it benefits me more than it doesn't, so that's why I use it all the time. But that's the tactics done. Let's go and have a little look at some of the player roles. Now, I've not actually changed a lot with these player roles, so I'm going to go from 1 to 1, and we're going to have a quick look together. But I would like to clarify again, guys, don't feel like you've got to copy all of this. You can simply download from the link in below. You can scan it for antivirus. There's nothing dodgy in it. It's literally just a Football Manager tactic file from Mediafire, which I upload to. So let's get into it and let's break this down. So then, let's start off at the heart of the team, which is the goalkeeper. So I've got him on the sweeper keeper role. As you can see here, I'm just going to pop this up so you can see. He's on the support duty. Nothing too special selected here. As I said, I didn't really find a need to play about with this too much, because right from the rip, we were actually performing quite well. Which would be with Ajax in the first save, because obviously I do use the same tactics across all 3 saves, because it is a tactic testing method, for sure. Moving into the right back then, we have got Dumfries, who again is a quality fullback. I've got to get that out there. He is on the automatic role at wing back, on automatic support. Run wide with the ball is on. Trigger press is obviously as high as you can get it. Nothing special selected here at all. As I can say, I do feel like some people and myself do this. I found myself doing this. Sometimes you end up clicking loads of stuff and it doesn't actually help you, it costs you. So if there's no issues, I don't change anything. That's the way I see it. Obviously during the game, like for perfect example, obviously not on a fullback, but on a winger, if one of their fullbacks is sent off, you could go into the player's profile and maybe tell him to dribble a bit more, take more risks, and really get into him, because obviously that player's on a booking, you can make him feel nervous. But right off the bat, nothing special is selected on the fullback. Now we've got 2 ball playing defenders in here. On the defend duty here, the trigger press is on balanced. The shorter passing is on for them, just because obviously ideally we don't want to go long every single time they get the ball. It'd be nice to see them sort of distribute it into the midfield or into the fullbacks. Either way works for me. As long as they don't constantly lump the ball up all the time, there's not really an issue for it. But nothing overly exciting selected on that role there. And I believe also for this guy here, we will go into it, he's also on the defend duty as well. Exactly the same. None of this is selected. So very basic for the back line. And the left back, who is also a wing back on the automatic role there, on the support role as well, is run wide with the ball. Sorry, I don't know what I was saying. Shorter passing as well. Nothing selected here, so fairly straightforward. But it works, guys. And don't feel like you have to change this stuff just to make it look fancy. Like, there's no point just going like, you know, clicking random stuff. Like, there's no point doing it. Like, if stuff works, leave it as it is. Simple as that. If you think something's going wrong, then I would have dived into it. But for me, this works perfectly. Moving on to the, arguably, in my opinion, the most 2 important people in this team, because they've got a lot of responsibility. They really have. We've got a ball-winning midfielder inside of Brozovic, who was, again, I was blessed with midfielders in this Inter Milan team. Trigger press is unbalanced. We've got the standard passing directness, because, obviously, we've not got it on shorter passing, and this is where you see that in the team. He will play the ball long, so if the winger's getting behind, or one of the forwards, you know, not the wingers, sorry, the fullbacks getting behind, or one of, because then their front 3, they did drift. I did watch a couple of games, they did drift occasionally. So whenever there's a chance to get the ball to him, he will go long with it, which is completely fine by me. But he's on the defend duty, cautious mentality as well. And then we move on to his partner in crime, Barella, in the box-to-box role, who is on the support role, positive mentality. Same with his passing as well. Standard, again, because it's not a short passing formation. So that's why it's on standard there. Now, this player here, I will say, this is your choice. I took it off before I recorded this because I know a lot of people will start complaining if it happens. I originally did have him on, where was it? On tackle harder to win the ball back. I had it on both. But you will pick up more bookings, and that is why I probably got so many bookings. So feel free to have it on. Obviously, it is more of a risk, but you will see him break up play a bit better. And obviously, if that does mean you give away a foul, you give away a foul. But that, I took it off because I feel like a lot of people download tactics and they instantly assume they're going to just upload them into their save and bam, win every single trophy in the game. No trouble. So I took it off purely for the purpose of that. I can already imagine someone will download this tactic, put it on, get sent and be like, what have you done? So that's your choice. That is one thing I will say. That is completely your choice. We'll then go in to the advanced playmaker role. And here we've got him on the attack duty because I do want him, you know, this is the area of the pitch where I do want him, you know, starting to progress the ball, getting some chances, creating chances for our forwards at the end of the day. We've got 3 guys to get the ball to. It's not difficult. We just got to get the ball into him. So his pass and directness is on standard as well. It's not always has to be short passes. Obviously, he might pick the ball up quite deep. So if he has to play a long ball over, he has to. So nothing wrong with that at all. His mentality is actually on very attacking. So he's a very attacking player. And to be honest, I don't really tell him to do too much out of the ordinary, because I feel like everything in this tactic works the way it is. You don't have to like mess about with stuff, do this, do that, because it's not a wild tactic. Like my three at the back tactic, for example, is quite an out there tactic. So roles had to be played about with, stuff had to be changed. With this, it's quite a balanced formation. Like if we look at it quickly, you've got your four at the back, which is quite common. You've got your two in midfield. This guy's more up there, but you have sort of got three in midfield, and then you've got three up front. So it's like quite a more familiar formation. Moving on to the front three, we've got two complete forwards and one advanced forward. Moving on to the left-hand side complete forward, he is on the support role. We've got his trigger press on less often. He's also hold up the ball, because that is perfect for Edin Dzeko at the end of the day. It suits him down to a T. And in the complete forward roles, it's very important they hold up the ball, because then it gives the advanced forward a chance to, you know, go forward and get into a space. And also it just gives people a chance to move up the pitch and give him more options at the end of the day. So that's pretty much the only thing I got selected on this position. Just for me, the hold-up ball, you know, is brilliant with a player like Dzeko. Purely because of his size. He's such a brute force, you know, player. Like, if you've got someone like him, I highly recommend using it. If you haven't, say you've got more of a quick player that isn't anything behind him, quite a skinny player, possibly select run wide with the ball, and then he can get the ball into the other two. But for me, hold-up ball is reasonable with whoever you've got, because it doesn't always mean they're going to be, you know, back against them, you know, all like that. It could just mean that they're just going to, you know, play with their feet until they've got more options, type of thing. Moving on to the right hand side then, guys, we actually played Martinez here. He also is on hold up the ball, so this is what I meant. That's what I was saying. It doesn't mean that they haven't got to be like an absolute unit, because they can literally just sort of play with the ball at their feet, hold it up, wait for more options, and that is exactly what they're there for. They still get goals. You can see Martinez was pushed out on this right hand side, and he was top goal scorer. So it proves that, you know, he does get goals. Don't feel like these players are just sort of only passing machines. They will get goals as well, 100%. Nothing too important selected on him. On the support role as well, I would like to point that out. And the last person in this, for me, I was using Alexis Sanchez, because I didn't make any signings. Obviously, it did get rotated about because I simmed it, but in the advanced forward role, we've got this on. So the directness is on standard. Nothing too selective on this. His duty is attack. Obviously, we do not want three supports up there. We want one person that is hungry, purely going for goals. But the reason why I didn't select any of this, like, I didn't want shoot more often on, because I don't want him to get the ball and just shoot constantly. I want him to play about with the front three, and I left it as blank to see how it would go. And I honestly think this is why you see such an even distribution amongst the front three, whether they're substitutes that come on or the first team, because they're all non-selfish. They're all sort of playing together, assisting each other, scoring goals, and I think it just works very well within this tactic. But that is going to be the tactic broken down, guys, basically. For me, it was dominant across 3 leagues, and I'm sure it'll be dominant for you as well. Please do download it. I'm going to do my best to upload it onto FM Scout website, so be sure to go check that website out. I'll leave a link in the description if I manage to upload it in time. And that is going to be it, guys. If you have enjoyed this tactic video, please do leave the video a like. We're absolutely smashing it on this channel. The support on my recent videos has been mind-blowing, so I am very, very grateful for that. But I hope this has helped you guys. If it has, again, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it enough, please do leave a like on the video, and please do subscribe, turn on notifications for plenty more uploads. Underneath my camera, I've personally selected a video which I really think you'll like, and also up next on the other side is a video that YouTube think you might like from my channel. So please do check them out, guys. Also, if you do want to keep in touch with me, be sure to follow my socials. I've got my Instagram and my Twitter above. I love to interact with you guys. But last but not least, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.